For her immense contribution to Indian tourism industry, ATOAI collective felicitated ADG Tourism Rupinder Brar as a friend of adventure.
An income tax commissioner looking after transfer pricing and international tax issues, and then you come to ADG tourism. Quite a switch, and at a time when country was at the saddest moments.
Yes.
And you created a storm. I would like to say that by giving that strength, mental strength to the entire tourism industry by starting a wonderful concept of Dekho Apna Desh, where people could identify their own country and they had a will to travel within their own country. So I would love to say that you're harbinger of the fact that women are resolute. You proved it, and you're a game changer.
On the income tax part, I would first answer that, it's like dipping your hands into people's pocket for tax. Now you're dipping your fingers into people's pocket and saying, take out the money, go travel, spend, create memories. And but yes, that is a job which is a more enforcement and requires a very different role play. And you are in a very different space there. But here you are dealing on a very different seemingly, I would say, actually very different, but in many ways, all the taxes that you get going as a citizen, as a collector, and now looking from the other side as to how these taxes are actually put to use in terms of policy implementations and working towards a sector which is not just dear to the Honorable Prime Minister. He always talks about it in all his speeches pretty much, is also a sector that it has huge potential for employment generation, huge potential for growth to the entire GDP. So I think it's both sides of the coin in a way, but ultimately all going to create a country together. On the other part, yes, it was in fact a very difficult time. Also a very, very unusual time where the world was looking at a flu, a Spanish flu, which happened almost 100 years before, and we were now confronted with COVID. But in a sense, I think it pushed us all to think out of the box. And the initial couple of weeks when lockdown happened, and we were also confronted with not knowing that it was going to unfold into such a long hiatus for travel. Who could have imagined? But yes, we did understand that we need to leverage the digital technologies, and we definitely needed to keep people excited, right? And it was a despondent period, just sitting at home, nothing to do. So I think some things just are meant to happen. And once again, I will give credit to the Honorable Prime Minister for the lurking, I should say, inspiration. When he said on 15th August 2019 that Indians can visit 15 places, and even if these are not developed, travel facilities will happen. In January, then we said, okay, let's put in the pledge for every Indian and say that by 2022, I'm going to visit at least 15 places. Well, things changed a few weeks down the line, and it could not have happened physically. But then we thought, okay, you can't travel physically right now, but you can start making your travel plans, right? So why don't we start giving people ideas? Then why should you just be limited to those 3, 4, 5 places that most of us were exposed to begin with? And that's how the whole Dekho Apna Desh series started. And we also honestly didn't know how far this journey will go. And I am I always use that word, so humbled by the sheer diversity of India. I am a student of history, and yet I get spellbound by the variety that this country has in terms of heritage, in terms of cuisine, in terms of textiles, in terms of people just creating something out of nothing at times. It's something about storytelling. And we've done 125 episodes as we speak.
Wonderful.
And each of them is a journey into India. Each of them has been brought by people like you. We just play the Sutradhar, and each of you have been, Akanksha, you've done an episode.
Yes.
And each of you has worked to make these 125 episodes, and for me, each of them is like a baby. Whenever now the campaign kind of sort of restarts, we're just waiting for the right moment when to unveil the movies that we've now done. You will certainly be very happy to see the one on adventure.
So we're looking forward.
Our only brief to the person who was making it for us was, when the person finishes a 30-second, adrenaline has to rush. And it does. I can assure you that. I can assure a lot of Indians as well as people overseas, when you see this 30-seconder, you will wonder, is that shot from India? Really? We never knew this happens here. We are in touch with state governments because that's where tourism happens at the end of the day. But if required, we will be looking at how the central ministry can also financially support. What is very important also for us, and we hope that we have some kind of an architecture. There are many schemes of the government. It could come from the Women and Child Development, it could come from MSME, then there are banks that are offering subsidized kind of loans to women. So I think we need to reach out to different ministries, departments, including the state governments, and see there's a lot already there. It is an important priority area. First creating the systems and then making sure that everybody is aware that yes, I can get there to access financial support. We have a new agency working with us. It rolls out on 1st May, and I have called them tomorrow itself for a detailed meeting, and we'll see if we can craft out a dedicated helpline from that, or else if required we will try and set up a dedicated separate helpline. But it might require a little work in terms of what are the issues that we want this helpline to address, and how can it be a supplement and an augment to an existing helpline that the police already has. And police does have its own helplines, probably needs to be advertised a little more. So do we need a dedicated for women tourists, or do we need a police helpline that's dedicated for women, or a tourist helpline can look for women? So I think those are subjects that require a little bit more work for now. Let's pick a couple of states and a couple of regions within those states, because these are to be enabled at the district level. And we could be in touch with the district magistrates in these dedicated districts, and then we run a sort of a pilot in 5 or 6 districts to begin with. And then it's easier to replicate a model in all the others as to what really works, flag it as a successful model to the other states to adapt it. Because India being as large as it is, and sometimes it does get really hard to implement something in one go. And I think it would be rewarding, therefore, to maybe pick a couple of places in each region, pick a couple of them in south, west, east, north, and maybe a little more in north, given the terrain, given the Himalayan foothills. There is possibly more adventure that happens there. So maybe pick a little more there and have a few places, and then let's work together on how to bring about systems that will work. Wherever I am, whether I'm there for adventure tourism, whether I'm there for spiritual tourism, whether I'm just there for laid-back tourism, whatever kind of tourism, but I think their overall sense of that this country is my home. And I cannot throw a wrapper here as much as I cannot throw it inside my house. So I'm just using wrapper as a kind of a symptomatic. It can be a lot of things, it can be bottles. It is also very loud music. I think we need to work with all of you, with the collective, and see what kind of social media messaging and campaigns, when all of you go for your treks and travels and all other kinds of adventure. If you could post with us in conjunction with Incredible India the good behavior that you all and your guests are putting, if that can be given to us or tagged, I think let's create infection for good behavior.
We also have a small request.
Please go ahead. Sure.
It goes, the digital endorsements go a long way. They can really be a game changer. And again, I bring the topic back to the Women's Collective and request that if we can, some sort of endorsement from internationally acclaimed women can be arranged who can talk about women in adventure, how adventure travel is safe in our country, and to pull more women to come to India for adventures. So that would be great.
We can explore something with the sports ministry and get an international persona. We have enough women in India. We have some great names also from the Northeast. and from other parts of the country where these women have been really breaking boundaries and doing so much. Maybe something like that. We'll definitely work on that. India of just immeasurable possibilities, and I think that's where adventure is something that was not so associated, and that's another stereotype we would like to break. Yes, we are a country where 4 religions got born. Yes, there is a lot of spirituality here. Yes, there are dance forms. Yes, we are known for our food. Yes, we are known for toys and whatnot and heritage and 500,000 plus heritage monuments, but we are also known for adventure.